about a topic I didn't really get to expand much on, and that's Nick Fuentes talking about black people. So let's get into it. Hard Talks Radio live in 4K. If you feel like donating to the Cash App, it is Hard Talk Radio 792. Let's get into it right now.
And I will tell you this as plainly as possible. I don't want to live around black people. I just don't. It would be irresponsible if I had a wife and kids to live near black people. It just would be. And that's not to say that every black person is violent. It's not to say that every black person is the same way. But we watch the news. We read the papers. When you drive downtown in Chicago, you know who you got to look out for and worry about when you're thinking about whether you're going to get carjacked, when you're worried about catching a stray bullet, when you're worried about who's going to pull up on the side of the road and literally shove a rifle in your face and steal your iPhone or shoot you point blank, execution style in Lincoln Park. We know who's doing it.
Nick, when you're in a city, and if it's populated by one demographic, mostly, you're going to have to worry about, people who are black who are criminals will attack black people who are not criminals. Okay? Or they're just criminals attacking each other. Just like you live in a white community, you will have crime and you will have white people attacking white people. Nick? Okay? I don't know what to tell you, Nick. I mean, that's something that happens everywhere. They'll say black on black crime, but when it's white people on white people, they don't say anything. Okay. You got 2 white teenagers right now on the run for stealing guns and ammo, trying to shoot up a school. All right. I don't know what to tell you, Nick.
I don't want to live near them. I don't want to be near them. They make me nervous. That's a survival instinct.
It must not be much of a survival instinct if you're on Fresh and Fit, talking to Myron Gaines and Fresh Prince. Fresh CEO. Now what? You don't hate blacks that badly. I can understand not living in the city. Living in a city, densely populated, there are chances of crime, regardless of the ethnicity living there. But once again, Nick is a white supremacist. He got black people to just have him on. I mean, I don't get it. He does not like you. He will tolerate you, and he will say things like this.
And the way this story unfolded, it's sort of interesting. Apparently, this white student, this Austin Metcalf, confronted a friend of the killer, presumably black also, and said something like, hey, you're sitting in the wrong spot. You're in my spot, something like this. And that's when the black guy jumped in and stabbed him to death.
The seat was not designated for Metcalf. Okay? Plus, Metcalf assaulted him. It was bleachers.
Unfortunately, we just don't know. When you're on the subway, when you're driving in your car, when you're in the city streets, you don't know whether the black person in proximity to you is one of the good ones or one of the ones who is going to summon literally, for people like us, an unthinkable level of brutality, senseless and merciless violence in an instant. We don't know. There's ambiguity. You're sitting on a subway. You look across. You see someone acting strange or aggressive. Is this someone who is going to pull out a knife and in 2 seconds slit my throat and kill me? Or is this just someone who's having a bad day? We don't know. I'm not willing to risk my life to find out. It's not worth it to me. I'm not willing to put myself in a position to find out. You know, us white
folk, Nick, most white folk aren't like you. I'm not going to say most of them, but the ones that are like you kind of bring bad attention to yourself. Okay. You went on Fresh and Fit saying the N-word. Okay. You were encouraging, you said the N-word. Okay. People like you, people like you can't ride the subway, Nick. You can't, because you're all over social media. All right. That's the problem. No, he said the ER. And that's the thing, what I will say about the trash, a subculture of black people. I can't stand the fact that they will take a racial slur and use it as a term of endearment. That gets on my nerves. You don't see Jews doing that. You don't see Mexicans doing that, but you see the subculture of the poor parts of the black community do that. And that gets on my nerves. It really does. Because now, when a person like Nick, okay, or another far right tries to be slick and try to befriend black people, and they will say, oh, I was just saying the Nigga, not the Nigger. And they'll get off slick doing that. And you being goofy will think that's okay. It's not. I'm not willing to risk my life. Do you know the things this man has said? The things he has said, you put your own life at risk, Nick. Okay? That's the thing. And he likes to take the subculture of blacks. You take the degenerates, okay, and you make that magnified as all black people. Okay? And that's what white supremacists do. See, they won't go and take the subculture of their community, the trailer parks, the trailer park trash, the one known for inbreeding, the one known for molesting their kids, the one for beating on their wives and their daughters, the one for human trafficking, selling drugs, creating gangs within their community, having turf wars, biker gangs. Okay? Notice they won't do that. They won't talk about those types of people, the ones that are dirt poor, you know, those red states. Want to talk terrible about black people, but you're selling drugs, meth to your communities, molesting your kids, terrorizing your own neighborhoods. Stealing from people. It's that type of, hillbilly gangster behavior. All right.
People, we like to live our lives. We like to go to college. We like to get jobs. We like to have kids. We like to make plans. We'd like to be.
All of you like to go to college? You all don't start trouble? Who's Dylan Roof? Who's Dylan Roof? Who's Tim Hanslet? Tim Hanslet went around and was snatching up black women, putting them in his house and torturing them. A white supremacist. Tim Hanslet. Who's that? You can look up Tim Hanselet. Okay, had women in his basement, black women. All right, prostitutes. Yeah, they're still people though. They're still human beings. And he put an iron choker on one. That was the one that escaped. All right. The rest were put in, the police found in blue containers, their bodies. Okay. That's the thing. We white people, you white racists, want to talk about black people committing the most crime. In reality, you guys are the ones that make up what, 70% of the population? 60 to 70% of the population, known for white collar crime, known for embezzlement, known for mental illness, known for mass shootings. Okay. Domestic violence, domestic terrorism. Okay. Both foreign and domestic. Who was the Unabomber, Nick? And most of you are on welfare. Black people make up the 56% of the exonerated, meaning they were arrested on false pretenses, screwed over and sent to prison for crimes they didn't commit. Nick. Don't talk about me. I hope you're not talking about me making racism my identity when this dude makes identity.
Because we condemn. If we are white, we will give up the white racist. I never said this, but many used to say, we will give up the white racist. We will sacrifice them because we condemn racism objectively, because objectively racism is wrong, and we as white people can recognize it's wrong, and it's a grievance against or an offense against black people, and we condemn it, and we want to show that
racism is expensive. It hurts it hurts not just black people, it hurts other ethnic groups, and it hurts white people because you're raising your children with false knowledge saying all blacks are bad when that is not true. You have crime in every ethnic group, and you have different economic classes. Poor, working poor, middle class, upper middle class, okay, rich, and the elite. All black people don't come from the ghetto. You have black businesses, black billionaires, black business owners, rich black gated communities. Google is free, and they keep coming up with this tired trope. And the reason why white racism hurts white people is because you're raising them on a type of entitlement, and you don't need to say, "Oh, we built this country." Whites did not build this country. You took slaves from other countries. You took black slaves from other countries, brought them here in America, took them from Africa, brought them here, and forced them to work in your plantations. You bullied Asians, Chinese to work on your railroads. All right. You all have fought you fought a war to keep the Southern way of life. Well, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Don't talk to me about Abraham Lincoln. His objective was to get the South back into the Union. He didn't care about blacks being free. He said, whatever the blacks, I could free blacks or keep them in slavery, I'll do it to get the South back into the Union. All right. Blacks had their 40 acres and a mule. Lincoln was assassinated, and whites were able to get their land back because the vice president was a white supremacist. Okay. Racist whites didn't build this country. Okay? Slaves built this country. It was black slaves that built the White House. Okay? See, when you have one side of history taught to you and not the rest, this is how you have a fractured mind. And you have this as a white person. Well, why are blacks so angry? Why are they this? Why are they that? And you don't know the other side of history, the whole history. You don't know African American history, which is American history. That's how you're going to act. But when you know black history, which is American history, now you're like, okay, I understand. I understand now. The dirty tactics, okay, the sundown towns, the Civil War, okay, Rosewood. I understand now. And then you see the dirty tactics with Ron DeSantis trying to revise history. Donald Trump wanted to demand the Smithsonians to say, well, slavery is woke. You understand that it's wrong because Donald Trump will never say, well, you know, the Holocaust is woke. He'll never say that because you know who he works for. You know who runs this country. At blacks and want to keep whites in the dark. Okay. And that's why white people, you know, like, for example, Danny Collins, when he found out the truth about Trump and the racism of this country, he got some backlash and many others. People like Nick Fuentes are not your friends. They are a threat.
Just because they're white, we're still going to do the right thing. We have got none of that in return. None of that in return. 30 years of white people policing ourselves, sacrificing even family members, reporting on family members, and it's gone so far in the other direction, and we're getting stabbed to death, and they celebrate. O.J. Simpson verdict, they celebrate. Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, they want to lie and pretend like, oh, they're just buying an Arizona iced tea. Always. All
right. Trayvon Martin. The thing is, with him having George Zimmerman on the ground, doing a ground pound technique, when was he going to stop? Okay. But you have to understand why black people were cheering. Okay. Because most of the time, whites behind a badge are beating the crap out of black people for no reason, using excessive force, going above and beyond. That's the issue here. You don't see that with Dylan Roof, who slaughtered black people at a church. And the officers just treated him with kid gloves. When Dylan Roof wanted to buy a hamburger, they stopped in the way and bought him a hamburger. All right? Like I said, you're taught in this country, there's two types of Americas. One for the black person and one for the white person. A white person goes and slaughter black people at a church. He's just lost, you know. All right. I'll do you one better. Okay. When Danny Collins was talking about how he woke up from being MAGA, okay, when he was in prison and he was talking to a Muslim, all right, and the Muslim was talking to him, okay, saying when he got hit with charges, he got hit with a heavy sentence. But you, Danny Collins, they look at you as the golden boy, the person that messed up, you know, he's just a boy that just lost his way, but not the black person. Okay. See, being black and you're taught by parents who love you that you're black. You have one strike against you. So you can't play around. You can't, you don't commit crime, period, because you have one strike against you. You're black. All right. O.J. Simpson. All right. O.J. Simpson was a maniac. Listen to the court testimony. Yeah, he was. Very abusive to Nicole Brown Simpson. Okay. But the reason why blacks were cheering is because of the history of racism in this country. That's the thing. And it's the same thing, racism is so deep in this country that that's how some people act, even with white people. Okay? You have white people that you see everything, all the information about Trump that points that he is a terrible person, and they will stand by him because he is white. That's how it is. When it came to Ahmaud Arbery, white people were standing by the McMichaels, even though what the McMichaels, who's Travis and Gregory McMichael, did, and the third person, I forgot his name, they were wrong, but they stood by the McMichaels. Okay, probably still do, even though the verdict was guilty, and McMichaels are spending life in prison for what they did to Ahmaud Arbery. They don't care. So what is Nick talking about, especially with George Floyd? White people are now getting bold enough to say Derek Chauvin is innocent. Derek Chauvin is innocent. Sir, this is the second time you put a knee on a person's neck. The second time. Luckily, the first person he did that to a Hispanic teenager, and luckily that Hispanic teenager got away. All right. But George Floyd, the man was having an overdose. It was your job to make sure that he was in the proper care until EMS arrived. But you have racist white people who think it was justified to unalive George Floyd. Now, let me tell you something. I don't agree with the left deifying George Floyd, putting him up in the same caliber as Martin Luther King. That was ridiculous. But as you can see with the Republicans and the Democrats, it's just meant to stoke the flames of racism, to get you angry, to get you bitter, to get you talking.
Gentle Giant. Oh, St. Floyd, pray for us. For the burglars and the fentanyl addicts.
Like I said, Nick Fuentes is just feeding into the poorly educated class of white people, thinking that all black people think the same and think that George Floyd was a saint. He was not a saint. He was not a saint. However, there was a different way to go about this. Floyd would still be alive, and Derek Chauvin would still have his job, and he wouldn't be fearing for his life of getting shanked for the second time in a row, because he thought he was above the law, and he thought that was great, a smart idea to have a bunch of his men have George Floyd on his stomach and just sit on, instead of just having him sitting up Indian style, putting him up against the wall, just having him there until EMS arrives. That's all he had to do. Have some empathy. going through an overdose. The man's not in his right mind. And you tell me the brightest idea you had was to put your knee on his neck. Not trying to get him some water, not trying to just have him sit upright until EMS arrives. This is what I'm talking about. Because he was taught it's okay to hate people due to the color of their skin. Okay? Oh yeah, these black people, they're drug addicts and they're violent. But you have the same type of people in your own community. You have the same type of people within your own demographic. Trailer park trash, meth addicts, drug addicts, junkies, car thieves, gangbangers. You have the same type of people within your own community.
We pray. I mean, really? So this was white people saying, you know what? Fuck you. You can't have, we will judge our own people in our own system. You can't have them. We're not turning over another white person to you because.
You mean you're not letting another white person face justice for their actions? You're not letting a white person face the consequences of their actions. That's basically what you're saying. You're tired of these types of racist whites don't like accountability. That's what Nick is saying. I don't like accountability. I don't like seeing a white person face accountability. That's it. This is what white supremacy poisons the brains of white people. And they pass that same hate to their children, that you're above the law. That's it. You're above the law. I could imagine how white people felt when Travis and Gregory McMichael were sentenced to life. And that other third person that recorded it, that drove the truck that hit Ahmaud Arbery. I could imagine the seething hate, the raging, the screaming, the ranting about it. Because, their own had to face the consequences for their actions. That's the issue. We're not giving up another one of our. No, you just don't want another one of you facing the consequences of their actions. Because that means I have to be responsible for the way I treat people, regardless of skin color. And no, white people have not been giving up racists. All right. Offering them up. No, they have not. They got caught with a crime and now they have to face the consequences. That's it. That is it. And that is what most of y'all cannot stand. That you cannot go over and burn a cross on a black person's lawn. You cannot bully an Asian to work on your railroad projects anymore. You cannot go up and snatch up a black woman and molest her and nothing will happen to you. There was a reason why there was a great migration and blacks had to go to the north. That's the issue here. And I also believe that's the issue why they want to revise history. They want to dehumanize slavery so it could happen again. So they could have a reason to try and enslave minorities, especially blacks, to work on those fields. They can't stand it. These poorly educated whites, these racist whites, they can't stand it. They can't stand a black person having a better job than them. They want to go back to the days where they could get a job because of the color of their skin they were born in. That's what they want. That's why they don't care what Trump does. They don't care. They want that dream so bad, even at the risk of them possibly losing their farm, their resources, even their Medicaid, their health. They don't care. They want those days again. And you minorities with this MAGA crowd, you're going to be the first to get it. Because they're going to turn on you. And there's many incidents of white MAGA Trump supporters turning on black MAGA Trump supporters because they're tired of putting on that mask.
I said the wrong word. Fuck you. White people get stabbed to death and you say, oh, they had it coming. He was 17 years old on a football field. They had an altercation. It's called teenage.
Okay. They weren't on a football field. See, Nick is lying again. They're at the bleachers. Nick is lying again. This is just to stoke the flames. Okay? And another thing, all right? They won't talk about this when it comes to Jews. So I said a racial slur to a Jew. They won't say, oh, screw you. No. They know that's a respected class of people. But blacks? Oh, it's open season. That's what it is. It's open season. That's what it's about. Everyone's walking.
The N word, which like children, we have to, like the F word, I said the S word. We still have to say the N word. And I think this speaks to the level of the whole country, as we all know, is walking around on eggshells not to offend the black people. We all know you can offend white people, Hispanics, you can offend Asians, you can heap discrimination and race.
You won't offend Jews, though. You won't offend the Jews because you know what this is what it is. It's just people like Nick, whites like Nick. Nick isn't even white. Nick Fuentes, he's Mexican. He's Mexican. You'll never be. You really have to have patience with these people because racism is expensive and racism, it really should be a mental illness. Especially if you're mixed and you want to be a white supremacist. Fuentes. Okay. We got to be like little children, not using the. You don't know. So you don't know the history behind that word, Nick? You won't dare say that about Jews. Okay. Aiden Ross is a Jew, I believe. That's the thing. I think he's a Zionist too. They try to gaslight you. Like, come on, let us say the N-word. Let us say the N-word. Let us degrade you. Let us degrade you. Come on. That's what it is. Let me degrade you again. Make America great again. Nick is like, let me degrade you again. Let me do it. Okay. And these two clowns over here, so Aiden Ross, and Aiden Ross is another person. Aiden Ross is a person that will have Andrew Tate sit on a chair and then you will sniff the chair that Andrew Tate just sat on. This man has no respect for himself. None. This dude over here, Sneeko, goes off, proudly talks about how he watched his girlfriend sleep with another man. And then worships Andrew Tate. And these people are so, for the far right. He started a fight with a person at the club, a black person, and wants to cry victim. These are the type of people. This is who they are. They want the right to degrade you. They want the right to mistreat you. You dare defend yourself. Now they play victim. They want that card. They want that victim card. They swear they're not victims, but you want the victim card. That's what you want. You want the right to oppress people, especially blacks. And if they dare defend themselves, oh, why are you so violent? You have low impulse control. They want racism in its full strength again. They want to burn crosses. They want to snatch black people up. They want to make shoes out of you and even eat you. You could do your research, and they would have pictures of a white child talking about selling the ears of black folk. The ears of black folk.
Racism on Arabs, Muslims, even Jews on some level. But we all know black people, careful what you say, or else you'll be canceled. If you're not in good standing, if you don't have the stamp of approval, you'll get shouted down. And I think it's totally ridiculous. So I totally oppose it. I think that, look, it's a word, sticks and stones, break my bones, etc.
No, Nick, no. Sticks and stones? No, you want the right to degrade people. Because when it comes to saying the N-word, fine. Then the next thing is putting hands on you. That's what it's about. It's in steps. Call them the N-word. Then put hands on them. You're not going to call a Jew racial slurs and then think about putting hands on them afterwards. Because you're going to be your pockets are going to be dry if you do that. You're asking for financial ruin. You have to know the game with these people, these monsters. Hey, Nick could change if he genuinely wants to. But until then, he's acting like a monster. And the sad thing is, you will have blacks that will try to agree with him. People like Myron Gaines, who is black and Arab. But will get told to his face by people who think like Nick Fuentes that, Myron, when we get all these minorities out of here, you're next. Oh, I was bored. What are you talking about? And Myron has the same type of lifestyle as Nick Fuentes. They're both down low. But want to stand for white supremacy. And I don't get that. Why are you siding with people with an ideology that does not accept your lifestyle?
People get called retard. People get called all kinds of other things. People can say things that are even meaner, that are more personal. But for some reason, blacks are this protected class. You can't say they're special.
Jews are also a protected class. What are you talking about? And it's getting to a point that, it's open season on blacks. Trump is making that a reality by trying to whitewash history, put in PragerU instead of PBS to teach about history to kids, downplaying the atrocities of Christopher Columbus. Oh, it was better to be a slave than to be killed. So slavery wasn't that bad. You just got to think about the times. Okay, so we could talk about the fact of what happened to the Jews during the Holocaust, right? The Nazis gassed the Jews, but you have to think about the times. It was better to be incarcerated than to be dead. And if it was you were dead, it's just the sign of the times. You will never hear them say that. So let's talk about Nick Fuentes and his relationship with Catboy Cammy. Let's get into that. Let's get into that right now.
Friend, yeah, here we go. You guys are reading too much into it and or are homophobes. Shame on you all. Well, there's nothing wrong with being homophobic, but the first part is definitely true.
You remind me of an ex.
Look who he's hanging out with. Look who he's hanging out with. And those girls kissed him. Look how who he's hanging out with. Australian dude wearing ribbons in his head. Pink ribbons, that is. Calling himself Catboy. You'll see what else.
Mine. Whenever we went out.
Will.
That's Catboy Cammy. Nick talking about family values, and you hanging out with some dude that having pink ribbons in his hair. Pink ribbons.
How do you reconcile promoting catboys with what St. Paul says? Effeminate men go to hell, and not forbidding cross-dressing. I don't think I've ever promoted anybody. I think I hung out with a friend of mine, but I don't think I've ever promoted anything. Lucas says, debate Vouch. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about doing it. I saw that he did extend an invitation to me. The only problem is, generally speaking, I don't debate fat people. I generally don't really like to hang out with homosexuals.
Whoops.
See what that dude's doing? Rise up. Thought crime.
You don't hang out with them, but you just saw that clip, right? Okay.
Heated. What else?
Racist incel says, do you think America's two-party system restricts our ideas from becoming mainstream? Perhaps. You know, I don't really like to think about whenever people say two-party system, my eyes sort of glaze over because it's just like sort of a useless conversation. You know what I mean? What if America had a multi-party democracy? Probably everything would be different. You know, I don't know what to tell you, right? You could say that you could countries where they have multiple parties, but I would say that in like the United Kingdom, does the multi-party system really allow like our ideas to flourish? America First Jew says, welcome back, King. Sorry about the cringe fads on the timeline. True Dickers are ride or die, and we still got your back. Hope you enjoyed your vacation. Well, thanks a lot, big guy. Yeah, I mean, look, you just got to trust the plan. I'm waiting for look. I'll go off on the Catboy thing in a moment. I'm waiting for a good super chat. I'm waiting for a well-formed question before I launch into it in full. Helios says, I've got half Asian GF. Is it still cringe or no? Yeah, it's kind of cringe, dude.
Oh, fuck, I should have brought the collar as well. Would that have been too gay for it?
You see this? You see this? This is Catboy Cammy. Rewind that.
Caller. Look, let's rewind that part.
America First Jew says, welcome back, King. Sorry cringe fads on the timeline. True Dickers are ride or die, and we still got your back. Hope you enjoyed your vacation. Well, thanks a lot, big guy. Yeah, I mean, look, you just got to trust the plan. I'm waiting for look. I'll go off on the Catboy thing in a moment. I'm waiting for a good super chat. I'm waiting for a well-formed question before I launch into it in full. Helios says, I've got a half Asian GF. Is it still cringe or no? Yeah, it's kind of cringe, dude.
Oh, fuck, I should have brought the collar as well. Would that have been too gay for it?
Caller. Look, let's rewind that part.
I'm waiting for look. I'll go off on the Catboy thing in a moment. I'm waiting for a good super chat. I'm waiting for a well-formed question before I launch into it in full. Helios says, I've got a half Asian GF. Is it still cringe or no? Yeah, it's kind of cringe, dude.
Oh, fuck, I should have brought the collar as well. Would that have been too gay for you?
You hear what he said? Should have bought the collar.
He's on that indirect kiss mode.
What?
Indirect kiss mode. It's like, no, that's what I'm trying to avoid.
What are you talking about? Oh, yeah. Indirectly kissing. Yeah. Lord,
This is the person that Pearly Things let on her show. That she knew who Nick Fuentes was. I wonder if she knew about this.
Yeetus says, how does anal sex with catboys win the culture war? It doesn't, but that hasn't happened. So, and this guy's like riding my ass.
Wait, do we have the exact same eye color?
What color are you?
You hear what he said? You hear what he said? Family values, right? Nick Fuentes.
Like,
You groipers, whatever you call yourselves. This is your king? This is your king?
bluish gray or like green or some shit, and then there's like a gold ring around.
Let me write up that part. Hold on.
Yeetus says, how does anal sex with cat boys win the culture war? It doesn't, but that hasn't happened. So, and this guy's like riding my ass.
Wait, do we have the exact same eye color? They're like,
Oh, woo! Can't take white supremacy seriously. And you cry that Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson won't let you play in their sandbox? What do you think they're gonna let you on when you got this receipt? Floating on social media? Oh gosh.
like green or some shit, and then there's like a gold ring around.
I have the gold ring, but
I'm pretty sure our eyes are exactly the same. Yeah.
exactly. Thomas says, God is going to punish you for promoting neocon Middle Eastern policy. Here we go. And associating with cross-dressing degenerates. Okay, well, thank you for the money. But I'm waiting. You know, I want to, look, we have to address the Catboy thing at some point tonight. Everybody's so concerned about it. I was waiting for a good question about it, but I might as well address it. You know, I did a stream with Lolly Socks. He's now known as Catboy Cam. His name. I advised him to change his name.
Lolly Socks Cat. It's still bad. It's still bad.
Because, you know, Lolly Socks, not great optics. I didn't necessarily I didn't put my stamp of approval on Catboy Cammy. I was like, it's not really, I mean, it's a little, Lolly Socks, it's hard to be worse than that. But, you know, is that really better, Catboy Cammy?
Yeah, I don't want these weirdos in the chat talking about some weird crap about your menstrual cycle and crap. Get off my live. Weirdos.
Case. This guy, if you don't know who he is, he's been on the Weekly Sweats. I did a stream with him like last month. He was a D-Live streamer. He would stream 24/7 on D-Live. And he would do these like Filthy Frank style lifestyle streams. He was on 24/7. So he had his wall papered over with like anime posters. He would go out to anime conventions and other things wearing anime dresses. And he would do IRL like lifestyle content.
Dresses. You hanging out with a man that wears and you family values, right?
You know, I don't approve of everything anybody I've ever hung out with has ever done.
Says Nick says he's conservative. This is who you hanging out with.
Obviously, right?
Whoa. Yep. This is who he hanging out with. This is And you see these symbols right here?
Just Pearly Things had Nick Fuentes on, who hung out with a guy like this, Catboy Cammy.
You see these right here? These are symbols that PDF files know about. A few years ago, Huggy had a big scandal because they had these types of symbols on their diapers. Big mess, big scandal. Disney brand diapers. Disney brand. And they had to recall it. All right. But I think I've shown enough about this dude. I think I've shown enough. And this is who, you know, they want to talk about single moms, black single moms and stuff, and the black community. What do we see about this?
Income housing guidelines, as the Section 8 low-income housing guidelines have changed since you know who into office, which was a horrible, horrible mistake, okay, for one. So now I get a letter today. I get a letter from Section 8 stating that after 13 years of being on Section 8, I either have to show that I am disabled, that I can't mentally or physically get a job, or complete at least 15 hours of community service, okay? Or I have to show that I do have a job, or that I am doing 15 hours of community service a week. If I show you that I get a job, you take away my Section 8, okay? I have 6 kids, all different dads, okay? I have been on Section
6 kids, different dads. White woman. 6 kids, different dads. Yeah, it's just black people.
Section 8 for 13 years. I'm not going to get a job. I can't get a job, okay? Not all of my kids are in school, so I have to stay home and be a mother to them. So now I'm at risk of losing my Section 8 because I can't show that I'm disabled mentally or physically.
The same crap you got going on in the poor parts of the black community, you have it going on in the white part, in the trailer park trash, red state white community. You got a lot of 6, 10 kids and you're on public assistance. Some of you all have good jobs, but you want to have multiple kids and you have to be on public assistance. You have to, because you can't afford it. Okay. And you guys voted for, many of you are Trump supporters who voted for this. You voted for you vote for Trump and you support the big, beautiful bill. Well, I hope you like being cut off from Medicaid and cut off from medical insurance. And I know your kids are going to thank you, the multiple kids that you have. All right. There's another one.
Y'all, I had all but decided I wasn't posting y'all a 5 o'clock video because last night ain't doing good and this morning's ain't doing good. And I just had threw my hands up and I was like, you know what I want to accomplish ain't accomplishable. But I got faith, okay? And I just got through a little bit more faith. Now, I ain't all the way where I need to be, but I'm over halfway there. But still about a quarter shy. You feel me? You feel me? So keep this date in y'all's mind, April 10th. I want y'all to continue to pray over this day for me. So April 10th is a day that I have to have everything on the checklist that the lender gave me to handle checked off. And he assured me that if I do all these things, I will be set to close on property in May. Now, mind you, these things were all very achievable, but they're even more achievable with the help from y'all. And at this point, the views are great, the likes are great, the shares, the follows, the reposts are all great.
People really, it's insane, man. It really is insane. Oh, yeah, he's for family values, right? Nick's for family values. Does this sound like family values?
Bitch, we could control your bodies, then win again. And yes, we control your bodies. Your body, my choice. We will keep you down forever. You will never control your own bodies. Never gonna happen, sweetie. Your body, our choice.
This is Nick Fuentes. This is who these racist whites support. They support Nick Fuentes. And this is what had a person come to his front door, trying to unalive him. And then he wants to play victim. He said this, and that's what had some guy in a helmet and with a gun trying to come after Nick Fuentes. He's not a victim. This is what he did. And Nick's rhetoric is what's pushing women into feminism.
It's your body, my choice.
I just want to let you know this should not come as a surprise to you. Men have been telling us this. The whole purpose of my channel this whole time has been exposing this. Men don't view you as fellow human beings, and they hate being put in competition with you as it disillusions their idea that they are somehow superior. Maleness and masculinity as we know it, and as most men know it, is just the ardent absence of
No, just no. But see, Nick is what's creating this drive for women to go into feminism. Okay? And you have women speaking nonsense like this. And feminism isn't for family values either. If you look at the early writings, feminism is about attacking the family, going against monogamy, promoting alternative lifestyle choices, okay? And promoting promiscuity. Basically, it's being a 304 and not being questioned for it. If you dare question it, you're a misogynist. Women need men to be masculine. Nick is not a masculine man. Okay? Thank God Harris lost. Either way, we were getting screwed, so I don't know what you're saying. Okay? Everybody's getting screwed over by billionaires now, Zionist billionaires. Whoever got into office was not going to favor you. Yeah, thank God Harris lost. Well, say that to the Nebraska farmers who are now losing their farms. Like I said, either way, we were not going to be winning. Okay. They're a uniparty. I'm going to keep saying it. A uniparty. They're a uniparty. They don't care about the American people.
What being a man is just not being a woman. It's a lack mentality at its core. And what happens when somebody has a lack mentality at their core is they're going to try to control things and people and outcomes. I have been telling y'all this about men for the longest time. For the longest time, men are on the path of least resistance by default. And the reason that men want only be able to compete with other men and they want to force women out is because women are the built-in safety net for men's feelings and ego.
No, we're not. No, you're not. As men, we're, taught to, you can confide in other men that you trust. And, but confiding in your woman, get to know her real well. Okay. Put it in another way, it's better to confide in God at times than confide in your woman at times. He won't betray you. Okay. But this is what it is. Okay. Nick Fuentes, his actions is pushing women to join feminism, and men like him are pushing women to join feminism. They want this way of the right to abuse women. It's basically what it is, the right to abuse women with no impunity, no consequences, taking away the right to vote, all right, taking away their right to choose to have abortion. I don't really agree with abortion, but I do agree with the right to choose. They have to make a choice. All right. I don't even really agree with having an abortion if a woman's assaulted, because it's still a life. But once again, I am pro-choice and I am pro-life. They have to make the decision lays with the mom. That's what I'm with that. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Make their own league. Make their own league. Do that. Make their own league. You don't need to be in women's sports. Okay? But once again, that is due to feminism. The reason why, because it's inclusive. And they want numbers, they want help. So This is the backlash for it. Now you have, you know, we have transformers in women's sports now. Too late now. Now they're taking away women's scholarships, you know. Yeah, and this is it. That's what it is. And people think Republicans are going to save you. Listen, the only difference between Democrats and Republicans is the Democrats are out of the closet, while the Republicans try to keep the closet closed, but every now and then a couple of bodies fall out of it. Okay? You're having incidents of Republicans getting arrested for PDF file behavior. Okay? Caught with other men. They're the same party. Just one tries to have their closet closed and the other one is having their closet wide open. Big difference. And you all still think that, you know, one's better than the other when both are against you. All right. I'm done. That's about it. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And that's about it. All right. Later. Peace.